You know, there's just something about trying to get through the current chapters of whatever fiction you're writing, because I do primarily write fiction, but as we get into ITHOTU 7th Curse random item stats, the run on World of Horror here shouldn't be pretty bad. So, we're moving on to another custom character, but I also have to keep an eye on the episode number, because that's when we shift our, as I tried to remember my thingamajiggies, my backstory. Yeah, that's when we shift or add more custom mysteries. Even though they've been played before, essentially we're cycling through more custom mysteries as we go on to new custom characters, and I think that throws some interest into the mix. But as we actually get into ITHOTU 7th Curse random item stats custom character, 3 strength, 4 dexterity, 8 perception, 7 knowledge, 5 charisma, because I almost said 4 perception, and yeah, we're gonna be going with the Army Knife. Dexterity, Takshisan, Knowledge, Charisma, Light, and maybe Strength. But yeah, we're going to primarily talk about writing again today, because that's what I like to do at times. If nothing else, I'm going to be training my own writing skills as I batsu myself on doing series. But we have every single stat check, and then we have Takshisan early on as well, if I recall. Oh my goodness, this is what I get for not paying attention as much. But 4 dexterity is barely enough to prep attack with the box cutters here. Granted with random item stats, unless it didn't change, but we also have Bulletin, Flood, Metamorphosis, Cult, and Phantasm. So, we certainly need to take the middle 3, including 1 custom mystery first. We'll take Cult third, so I guess we'll do Metamorphosis now. The question is whether or not I want to box cutter or something else. I guess I'll think about it. I'll still prepare twice for 5 funds, but we'll equip the box cutters, and if we run into any enemies, then we can think about buying the Army Knife if the box cutter break. That's our World of Horror focused decision making for today, at least the first time. Now, us being at 3 strength makes me really, really scared. I also sort of switched the patrols to the seaside, but it's far too late now. And I think we'll be visiting downtown quite a lot anyway, so as we roll a 1 there, okay, fine. RNG has been balanced for the moment, but yeah, I did want to talk about writing because it is something that I'm still trying to do, and I'm getting more into doing. Now, whether or not I'll complete anything before anything weird happens in real life, we'll see what happens. But as we get a dog here, just gonna also try to focus as I autopilot here, particularly as it pertains to, as we go back to the topic of writing. The thought that you can do, yeah, when you read something, I may have mentioned this before, we'll mention it again if that's the case, because it's something I usually have on mine. It's when I go through things and read, oh my goodness, I think we'll be okay here. As I read other stories, the basic thought is, I can do better than this. Now, that's not saying that whatever you're reading is bad, but it is, I think, a kind of confidence as we break, oh, that's, wow. We just happen to break the box cutters right as we get into the boss here. I guess that's something I forgot about, but the game will kindly remind me. So now we can't take Flood, because now we... yeah, now we can't fight as well. Oh my goodness, ITHOTU. But I guess we just take this in the face and hope that we don't get stamina bugged. If so, we do another run. But otherwise, we stand here and we still try to... I guess we gamble on some coin flips. Primarily 1 coin flip. Actually, no, we need more than that, don't we? We do 4 damage on the... okay, actually this is a very good box cutter, so we can keep this weapon. The problem is that we need to hit a 70%, because I think we do... this is real 8 damage per attack. 9 damage, but you get the point. Okay, so we can't take Flood. Never mind, rewind. But yeah, the thought is that you can do... I can write better than this author, or I can do better trying to write a character, trying to make a better plot, setting up twists, or doing something that is not great, and then proceeding on with that. Again, that's not saying that whatever you're reading is bad. That's, I think, it's more getting your mind into a... how should I call it? A confident... building up confidence and putting yourself in a positive mindset. Because if you don't, I mean, you probably want to be in a positive mindset in the way of confidence in your writing. Now, that doesn't primarily... because there are more than a few authors who wrote while they were not in the best mental state. Not that I would advise that, but based not mental state, but I guess more accurate to say their current situation was not where they would probably like to have been at. And so for that reason, I think there are certainly some works of fiction that have been improved by basically drawing from bad experiences, if nothing else. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I think we could think of a few examples. I can't at the moment, but I'm sure you, the viewer/listener, can. But as we sit here looking for the theologist, again, similar. I want to be in a positive mindset most of the time. We're going to enter, by the way, and we have to check the coast. This is not great for Frostbite, but it is great overall for strength, even though it costs Doom. But that's okay, because we are in Flood, and we are not going to... We can, also get rid of Frostbite, and then also... I mean, yeah, the Ancient Ring is strength, but as we move on here and top ourselves off... So among other things of writing is, again, just being confident in what you're doing. Do I want to gamble on a double coin flip, essentially? Yes, I do. So let's just autopilot here for a moment. So can I write this character better? Can I write twists better? Can I write interactions between characters better, or events? Or maybe you're good at coming up with the history and or the setting of a certain story, which I don't, but... there's just other examples you can think of, and then putting that into your writing and trying it out. Now, you don't know how it's gonna be, or you can try your best to, I guess, predict how... Oh, that's reason, by the way. Predict how audience will, or your readers will react to what you've written, but I think... I mean, if nothing else, obviously reading other works of fiction, especially those closer to what you want to write in terms of genre, in terms of style, in terms of what you're trying to look for, and maybe you don't find it on the market, and so you're like, I'll just write it myself. I think that helps out. I don't want to go too specific, because, I mean, I usually do not mind. I think I do want first aid instead. I usually don't mind talking about specifically what I'm going into, but I can say I normally write in the fantasy genre anyway. So, for that... Oh, by the way, Colt. So when I look at fantasy, I mean, I'm not the greatest, as I mentioned before, at world building or setting, but I do like basically diving into characters and character interaction and dialogue in general. I mean... If anyone gets something from this video, I mean, that's basically me. I like dialogue and characters the most. Now, yeah, world building and environmental setting, something that I probably need to work on. I could brace here, but I don't think we get anything more out of it, so... We'll just prep attack, take 4 stamina damage, and move on with our life. Now we're losing a lot of stamina damage, but... Could be a lot worse. I mean, we have 21% Doom. There's no reason why I shouldn't be resting at some point, but I'm gonna hope I don't lose more than this. Actually, if we fight the boss, well, we can react based on if we get the follower. So your quick tip for today is that if you're taking Colt as a custom mystery, and you don't get the follower, you cannot skip the boss, which means you should probably think about topping off your stamina and reason if your combat is not where it should be. Thankfully, for better or worse, we did not get the follower. Or we did get the follower. I'm going crazy. We did get the follower. And so we can skip the boss if I so choose, which I probably will. Our stamina's looking a little bit low. I wonder if that appeared. Anywho. What was that anyway? Anywho. We can spend this Doom getting rid of flashbacks, because a second flashbacks will end the run prematurely, and we're doing pretty well Doom-wise, if nothing else. Now, as for the rest of this run, I guess we'll find out. But we can just roll on a relative 65%. And move on with life. That was pretty much 50-50 as far as I can tell, to, I guess, kind of tangentially talk about World of Horror, but gaming in general. And anyone newer to this channel, yeah, my luck is below average still. I still believe that. And if someone wants to prove me wrong and says, hey, Jordan, look at these videos, and, you know, on average, your luck is actually pretty good, I will also add the asterisk in that usually when it matters, I do get really, really, really lucky. But otherwise, as I've mentioned, more specifically, I feel, as we heal stamina here, my luck is 50-50. 50% of the time, I'm normally I have below average luck, and the other 50% of the time, I can get really, really, really lucky. Okay, maybe like 45% of the time, because the other 5% is just bad luck anyway. But you get where I'm trying to get at here. Phantasm sent to Bulletin? Yeah, Phantasm sent to Bulletin. So my worry here is that we have 7 knowledge, and we're not going to pass this very specific check. That's just going to give us Doom. Thankfully, our run has been low Doom so far, but this will still add a bunch of Doom as we roll a 12 on luck. And off we go. there's more I could talk about writing, in particular, I guess, not really advice, but if it was something that I were to note, it's the... I think I want to say, well, we're not past the era, but we certainly care less about, for lack of a better word at the moment, because I'm trying not to get short here, less focused on spelling more than the actual story, if the story is good or not, which I think should be mostly, I think a majority of people would agree that having a good story is better than spelling correctly most of the time. But obviously, if you're working in a professional setting, if you have beta readers before you publish a work, whether it's physical work of fiction in a book, it's a book, or, oh my goodness, 10 roll on a knowledge check and we get stench stricken, it's fine, we have the doom. But, or you're just writing something online, obviously spelling is still important. You don't want to just de-immersify your readers with too much odd spelling, but that's a very simplistic example. A more specific example is that I recently did research into a specific piece of fiction, and this artist in particular, I think we can just take this reason damage in the face. This particular writer tended to use a very specific, to paraphrase what I'm trying to explain here, they used a very specific phrase frequently, no matter what was happening, whether it's in dialogue, whether it's in narration, even between different points of view. That will, I felt, at least for me, because obviously reading a viewer's review or opinion is ultimately subjective, but I mean, it depends on what the author wants. If the author wants commercial success, if they want to just put out a work of art, or maybe they just want to give their experience. In this particular instance, I keep saying de-immersify, I'm losing a better thing. The immersion was broken by this very specific, I guess we'll also call a verbal tick that the reader does. Much like, I think I've explained this before, much like I've also had, let's just say, a teacher who had a very specific pet peeve in writing, I guess. And then they, at least that teacher had the, awareness to say that this is a pet peeve and they didn't want to see it. But I think in general, basically certain things that you do in writing, watch what you may repeat as you're writing a work of fiction. An example would be saying, if you write frequently, no matter where it's happening in, especially if it happens all the time, no matter where it's happening, like dialogue, narration, world building, if you use, say, the word but this is, a phrase like but, comma, this is, and that keeps appearing over and over again, no matter the situation. Yeah, I feel that's gonna break the immersion a lot, because, oh, I am visiting this forest, and I'm visiting the thing, and I have not done a thing. But do we still have time? Okay, yeah, we can visit the forest twice. Well, I should just level up here. But you get what I mean. If you have something that you repeat over and over, a very common solution, I guess I'll give, or a solution that I found, is essentially, because usually I believe people are writing/typing their fiction on some kind of document editor. What you could do, as we grab a pack of cigarettes here, is that you essentially Control F for certain phrases that you either notice, or you toss your work of fiction into, I think even there's a word count that can specifically count phrases and whatnot. But you get what I'm trying to say. Whether it's a word, whether it's a 2-word phrase, whether it's a 3-word phrase, look for where you might be repeating certain things, a certain phrase or word, and try to do elsewise. This is most important, again, as someone who likes characterization and dialogue. I did not do the thing, did I? Well, we can fight this phone. The question is whether or not it's going to hurt a lot, but I think we'll just do this. -2 all for all of this. Well, we can fight this still, but it is going to hurt a lot. We can also take charisma here, but not for long. So, I guess we're going to find out if we survive here. I think I may have to gamble at some point. Oh yeah, we definitely have to gamble at some point. So, I forgot to also smoke the pack of cigarettes. That would have helped earlier. We can take more damage because of it now, but would have liked to not do this. Well, But yeah, specifically for characters, if your characters are saying a very repeated phrase that you put in your narration, that's immersion breaking. And this is very, very base level stuff in my opinion. By the way, 76% roll, so I guess we'll see if the video ends quickly or not. But yeah, if that happens frequently in your works of writing, even if you're not writing fiction, just in general, you don't want to do that. Another example is like more educational, like if you're writing, say, a scientific theory, if for some reason your own style comes out, that's probably not for the best, is what I'm trying to say. But anywho. And again, it's something I frequently do because your characters should not be repeating phrases unless they have the same type of personality or something like that. I think you get where I'm trying to say. By the way, Takushi-san, we do have the handcuffs, but I don't know if it matters. We can certainly take the Doom here. Let's just do some calculations. So we have knowledge, we don't have dexterity, and we don't have charisma. We don't have a light source either, so we basically just rest 3 times and call it a day. We might as well also level up here as well. And get nothing, so we're definitely going to take strength, because I like strength, and even if we don't have to brace, Takushi-san's probably going to fold under the power of this broken box cutter that's been here for a while. What was the reason why this character has a box cutter again? I'm trying to think of her lore, but anywho. Yeah, we can just take this Doom in the face, so speed, and we get 100%. And we'll even handcuff to try to feel cool. But yeah, as we go off here, if nothing else, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, it's not often that I say that. It should be more implied with me making videos on this channel, but I hope you at least enjoy. And if you feel happy about it, you can support me any way you want. You can comment whatever you want, as long as you're not being crazy. Follow common sense. But yeah, without further ado, as always, I'll be here trying to do more World of Horror content, but I'm not going to take up much more of your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!